Well, folks, it's Cornell with YouTube Fishing Vids, and what the heck am I doing back out here on the same mountain lake that I was fishing in the last video? I wasn't supposed to be here, folks. I was actually supposed to be on another lake about an hour and change from here called, I believe it's called Jennings Randolph Lake. I got a suggestion from a subscriber on Facebook that I should go check it out, and I did. I went to go check it out here. Got up fairly early, took about a 2.5 to 2 hour and 45-minute drive to the western side of Maryland in Garrett County, and the boat ramp was closed. Unbelievable. Closed boat ramp due to some crazy psycho thunderstorms and rain yesterday. The darn lake got flooded. So they had the gate closed. There were people coming and going, trying to get in there. They couldn't, and neither could I. So fortunately, this lake is en route, coming and going. So I came back and I decided to just come out here for about 4 hours and try and make something happen. Last time I was out here, it was tough. It was a drop shot scene. Now we've got crazy wind because the front blew through last night, and usually the day after some big heavy storms, the next day is pretty windy, and it's pretty darn windy out here. So I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I got spinner baits over this weedy point. I'm throwing a topwater walking bait. I got a Sammy and an American shad, bright and shiny, trying to get a topwater bite here in the middle of the afternoon with the sunshine. But I'm gonna go at it 4 hours, guys. Let's see if I can do a little better than the last video, but you know what, I'm fishing, and that's all that matters to me. So let's get at it, see what we can do. This wind is blowing and it is gusting, probably up to about 25 miles an hour out here. It's a little lake, so you don't see the whitecaps, but it's hustling at me straight from the dam all the way back to the headwaters here. I got a great looking point over here, guys. Nothing happened on top. I did throw a jerk bait. I threw a spinner bait over the weeds, but now I'm gonna throw probably that jerk bait and that spinner bait over this deep rocky point to see if there's any suspended fish, which there very well likely may be, and hopefully it's a smallmouth. The main deal with me is coming up here, not only is it about 10 degrees cooler up here, it's beautiful. It's like 80 degrees with this breeze and no humidity, but there's smallmouth here. So if I could get some smallmouth under my belt, that would be just great. But let's just see what happens. This point's looking great. The wind's blowing right on it. Time to get fishing again. Well, amazingly, after a bunch of chucking and winding with all kinds of moving baits, this wind is seemingly calming down. It's calming down just enough for me to want to throw this shaky head, guys. Got a little itty bitty finesse worm, just a zoom finesse worm on an 1/8 ounce shaky head. Real finessey deal here. So let me just throw this out here. I'm on the same rocky one, not the same, it's another rocky point where I was throwing a spinner bait and a jerk bait. And let's see what happens here. I've got a little drop off here. I got a little bit of cover, some weeds and such, mixed in with this rock. So now the wind picks up, of course, so it's gonna be blowing me around. Let's see if I can just drag this shaky head around and try and get something to bite. All right, guys, I got my first fish. I'm in the shadow of the Rocky Gap State Park, so I got a whole audience cheering for me because I got myself a fish. You should hear the crowds on a Sunday. Absolutely hilarious. So, guys, there's my first one on a shaky head. I got out of the wind, and there it is. Back it goes. Let's see if we can make this crowd cheer one more time. All right, guys, there's number two. It's still another dink. It felt giant. It got caught up in some weeds. I was fighting the winds for a minute, but guys, dink fest for now. All right, guys, the wind is dying down finally a little bit. It's coming up and coming down, but the sun is definitely dipping. So I'm anxious and excited to try a topwater bite tonight, but as this wind dies down, like I did with the little shaky head dinks, I'm taking advantage of the finesse bite. So I got my drop shot out on a point, and there's some weeds, and hopefully there's some bass. So let's see what happens. There we go. Moving the boat and I get bit. Oh, it's a nice one. What a jump. Guys, I love it. I broke out the drop shot. Thankfully, the wind died just enough, and a little tiny bit more than a dink. Not too crazy, but a little bigger than those last two. Thankfully, the drop shot made it happen. Love me some drop shot. Okay, cool. All right, number 3 bass. Here we go. Nice, guys. There is nothing better than a topwater bite with the setting sun and the smell of campfire wafting over a beautiful clear lake. And check it out, I got him out of there. Just a nice itty bitty tiny little bass, but I'll tell you what, he's a topwater bass, and that's all that matters. Guys, it's been a brutal tough, difficult day out here on the mountain lake, just like last time. But you know what? I got a couple, and that's all that matters. I'm gonna keep throwing this topwater. I got a few more minutes before the sun's really gone, but got myself a topwater bass on a little popper. Isn't that a little pretty dink? It's all about the atmosphere. It's all about the efforts, and it's all about the fishing. So let's get back out there and see if we can get one more. There we go. Nice, guys. I got my bigger fish on top. That is awesome. I actually looked away. The biggest fish of the day. What I've been waiting for all day was that right there. Isn't that awesome? This lake can be tough, guys. I was warned, and I was told many times in the past that this lake is a challenging spot. But guys, it's not that challenging if you just put in the time and you stay out till almost dark to do it. So there it is. Beautiful, beautiful mountain bass on my Booyah popper. I always call it bluegill, but I think they actually call this the bream color, which is pretty much the same deal, just a little panfish option. So that's what happened. Moved myself over to this little point right here, and I'm gonna try and catch another one because it's not quite completely dark. So let's go at it. There we go. Nice. Awesome. Another good fish, guys. Oh my gosh, that is so great. He jumped like a smallmouth. That is a small, it's tugging hard. If it's a smallmouth, my night is made. I don't think it is, but man, that was such a great bite. And another chunky bass. Guys, that is absolutely awesome. Two nice ones, almost back to back. It's only been about 3 casts. Let me do that because it's gonna get me. Oh my golly. Check it out. Perfect. All right, guys, here's the deal. It's a little bit of a ride back. It is getting dark. I'm going to call it on that fish. I'm as happy as I could be, considering this whole day, this whole afternoon was supposed to be spent at a lake I've never fished on before. It ended up having a closed boat ramp. This is not a bad little bit of a recovery here. Afternoon into the evening, guys, we got ourselves a couple fish. Wasn't the easiest of fishing days, but I'm happy. So folks, as always, I appreciate you joining me. As always, I appreciate you subscribing. Until we meet again, over and out.